We are part of our On the Road edition. We're here in California. It's a beautiful day in Los Angeles. And we are here with my dear friend, my brother, Dr. Edwin Perry. You're now the executive director of the Salvation Army of the Los Angeles Metro Division. But it's been a journey to get here. So we'll get to what's happening currently.
Yes.
But I want to just start real quick at the beginning. Like, you're born and raised LA.
Born and raised in LA.
Where did it start? Where did the Edwin Perry journey begin?
First of all, Damien, it's good to see you.
Good to see you, bro. Yeah.
Man, it's been, 3 years, 4 years?
Yeah, too long.
Too long.
I've been gone. I've been in Asia.
Yeah, a lot had transpired in my life.
You changed a lot of things.
Yeah. But born and raised in Los Angeles, Compton, California.
Compton, California.
That's, I would say, the hub of poverty. And with a dream, I made it out.
You made it out.
Made it out.
Well, your family dynamic, who is the most influential person?
My mother and my grandmother. 9 aunties, very little male figure.
9 aunties?
9 aunties.
No uncle?
No uncle. Uncle died when I was
very young.
A lad, yeah.
So your mother came from a big family, but mostly girls.
All girls, one boy.
Wow.
And then the grandmother, back in those days, man, I sound old now. 1973, I was born. Grandma's house was, the mansion. Everyone find a corner to sleep, to sleep. And cousins everywhere. But that was, I believe, the beginning of knowing what true love is, right? Because you see the struggle, but you don't feel the struggle, right? Never missed a meal,
You felt taken care of.
Yeah. If versus 2024, we plague with what we think we need.
Yeah.
Versus in the time where you was boring, where your parents may do, we didn't have the opportunity to say what we had a taste for, right?
Right.
This is what we eating. And then we crave what we were eating.
Yeah.
Right.
And you don't remember like comparing different kind of lifestyles. You felt taken care of. You felt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was good. And then in the mix of the togetherness, of course, the triggers began, the trauma and the family secrets, right? Where, we were taught, don't tell what happened in my house to nobody,
Some of those family dynamics.
Yes, some of the family dynamics where I look at now mold me to who I am currently, who I am today. So the journey was difficult, but as I look back now, the Bible said it was good for me that I was afflicted, right? But I remember I was 4 years old when I got molested by my auntie. So it was 4 years old.
Wow.
And it was always on Wednesday, right? And she used to give me 25 cents to not tell. And then she say, if somebody asks, just tell them you took out the trash, because that was trash day. So everyone else at that time, I'm the top 4. So my 2 brothers, my brother, my sister, and my cousin, who's, by default, our sister was in school, but I was not eligible to go to kindergarten because you had to be 5, right?
You're just under
yeah,
the
4, age. Yeah. So in the daytime, I was molested, right, by my auntie. Not one time, not 2 times, but several times. So looking at that, it molded me into something that I had to figure out in my 40s. So 30, 40. I didn't tell my mom, because it's, I didn't know. Therapy was good. was very helpful.
So you started facing that with therapy in your 40s.
I saw confronting that when things was not adding up, but it always was the thought in my head, right? Why you don't have no kids, right? Why everyone around you, why your brother and sister is getting married? Where's your wife, right? And where's your kids, right? But it molded me in a way where you isolated yourself for intimacy because of the non-heal.
Sure, I get it.
So you can be delivered, but you don't be you not healed.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Can I ask? Because I've heard many say that if they're experiencing that in their childhood, for some they don't remember it clearly until it like starts to come out later because it's suppressed. But did you remember it from childhood, or
it never was a conversation,
right?
So, but you have questions, right? As you get older. I remember at this time, 21, still in my mom's house, and then I used to have intercourse to prove to my mother I wasn't gay. Wow. Because everybody, all my cousins is married, all these kids, and then I'm the single guy. But no one took the time to ask why. So I had to go on a journey.
Yeah.
To figure out why, because I never had pinned the dots.
Connected the dots.
Yeah, I never did that. We was taught don't cry, right? Play football, play basketball, go out there and run, get sweaty, get musty. But we would never talk to express yourself, right? So, but that's when I had to begin to do the self-work. I remember when that particular auntie became ill, and she was one of the first aunties who passed, and then I had to funeralize and take care of her kids.
Yeah.
And it was like, wow, and then that's when it began to seek in more. And then come find out, not by the same auntie, but it was the plague of child molestation was running through my family, but no one had the
stories were coming out.
Yeah, the courage to tell, right? But not by the same person. But in that environment in the 70s, everybody living in one house, and that was the first when the drugs, at that time it was PCP was on the rise, and so we grew up figuring it out, but no dialogue, right?
Wow.
So it made me today, because I love to express myself, and I love to talk to other people, because I tell everyone currently where I'm at, I was you at one time.
Wow.
So God had allowed my parameters to be wide enough to handle individuals in 2024.
Right. With all that's going on.
With all that's going on.
I mean, we've done some work together. We've known each other for years now.
Yeah, crazy.
I do remember you mentioning something about your auntie, and I think it was this auntie in particular. But you've never shared this.
Yeah, never shared
with
it.
me, and I'm wondering, like, do you? Is it part of your? Do you share it often? Is your testimony part of what you're? I mean, in a one-on-one situation, or is it sometimes more in a public setting, or?
Well, I mean,
clearly this has had a huge impact.
Yeah, it did. church is beautiful, and I had to learn God outside of church. And no disrespect to any sanctuary, but church is the last place in some occasions where you can say you have a problem, right? Because it's the stigma to come behind it, right?
The church is trying to convey a standard to reach.
Yeah.
And it's
but
not so
don't
comfortable
really want to reach
to
it.
talk about the process.
Yeah.
If you're not there.
Yeah, but the truth of the matter is, everyone
needs that sanctuary, needs that place to be.
Need that sanctuary. So church is, right, you look good, smell good, put on your church mats. But there's so many people is hurting on the inside because the confession is not there, right? With church in the traditional four walls, right? Of how someone relationship with God. Yeah. So me, because I always, God, I say now bless me to stutter. As a young age, my therapist said perhaps it came from the trauma, right? Because it was not dealt with. So, you get tense in certain environment, but I don't get tense no more because the beautiful thing is this is who God allowed and made me, right? The beautiful thing is to walk in who God breath have breathed out. And this is how his image look, right? And used to deal with low self-esteem, right? And I remember as a kid, one of my cousins, this was in California when carpool first came alive, right? And then
the carpool lane.
I think I told you this story. And that's when I got over my depression or my insecurity, because that's the first day I felt that I was somebody needed, because in order for my cousin to get in the carpool lane, she had to need another person, and I was the other person. And it's amazing how God can use
even that
simple thing.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
To heal, right? And then I never struggle with insecurities no more.
Edwin, we're shooting this podcast, and you're diving in deep in the beginning, but it's like, how can we, if we really want to talk about peace, and we want to talk about God, and we want to talk about being a vehicle for peace to show up in other people's lives, how can we avoid those life-shaping moments, at least to face them?
Yeah.
You're facing it, but you're also allowing it to be a part of the story that you're sharing. And I'm sure this is going to help a lot of people. I just want to say thank you.
Yeah, but when you look at peace is a state of mind, right? And defining peace as a 50-year-old man, it is inner peace, right? And peace is an attribute of God, right? That God is the source, and there are so many attributes, right? There is so many other attributes for peace. As you mentioned, is one of the vehicle towards inner peace. Because when you connect to the source God, and when you dwell with God, it is you become like him, right? And God will allow you to do the work, and put you in a state of mind and then when you deal with peace, it's inner peace, right? Because peace is not down shopping. That's just a distraction. The peace is something I have to dwell with inside of them.
So we have to be present. But if there's a part of us that we're keeping in the shade, like your story, if that's an untouchable, if that's an unspeakable, if that's an unthinkable, then you're packaging one part of yourself up. That child doesn't get to be a part of it, then how can there be peace?
There's not enough peace. Yeah, it's not peace because the oneness of God with you.
Mm-hmm.
And when you begin to walk with God, He walks with me, He talks with me, and if you tell Him I'm His own, and when you live true to His word, He loved me. I love Him because He first loved me. It is the Father, the Shepherd, molding His child to blossom, right? To be who they will be. And again, the trees come in, what we call in now is self-care, but that's just doing the work.
Right.
Now we have all these fancy names, a mental day. I need to center myself to get me back on track with my creator and source, right?
So you're leading me to so many questions.
Oh, okay.
Catch up with you in right here. And I do want to go back in a minute. I'm with you, David, but right here, you're talking of there are trends, toward peace and toward self-discovery or self-help. But what would you say to those that are seeking that, but not necessarily making God a part of the equation? Or maybe better, but not recognizing and acknowledging that God is a part of that piece, that discovery. Because, there's I think everybody wants to be better.
Yeah.
But there's a lot who seek to attain that peace, but don't like the idea of God being a part of that. You know what I'm talking about? They don't. So for you, what would you speak to that?
If I can answer the question a little bit backward, show them to get to the root of it. Is our objective to learn how to become quiet, right? Silence, where you can hear the chaotic thoughts in your head, right? I remember going to speech therapy as a child, and they taught me how to control my imagination and my inner thoughts. He said one reason why I was stuttering, because it was like traffic going through my head with all these thoughts, and I'm trying to say everything at one time. And it was a collision along the way. But when you can step back, quiet, right? Do you know many people can't sit in a room of silence? Right? Can't go to sleep without the TV on, right? You need a fan. They call it white noise, right? But when you learn how to meditate, quietness, let your thought run until you can begin to put your arms around the chaotic in your mind, and until your mind run out of things to collide with it. And then when you're comfortable of the silence, right? So another technique that I had to learn is, they were teaching you this when you were as a kid, right? It's like for speech therapy. Yeah. Thought therapy. It's a darker, they gave me a book, You Can Go Rich by Napoleon Hill, at 7 years old, right? And I still read that book today. And I learned how to look at myself in the mirror, right? Oftentimes the lack of peace and the chaoticness of a person's thought is really
really don't like what they see in the mirror. Just because what you see is not what I see, right? I use the rest with that, my thoughts are good and not evil towards you. I got good, God is saying, I got good thoughts of you, right? But that is, I'm going to your question backwards, right? So once you do the work and when you develop that relationship with God, right? That devotion time with God, then God will begin to reveal himself, right? I call it encounter with God, right? Right? The mini encounter with God, right? It was Adam, right? Adam, where are you? Because we used to walk in the cool of the day, right? That's fellowship, right? And in fellowship, we began to have dialogue, right? And isn't it amazing about topic that God was waiting for Adam? And oftentimes we hear, oh, we're waiting for God. No. God was waiting for Adam, right? Wanting fellowship, wanted to reveal who he is, right? And then once you begin to have fellowship with God, now it's a state of mind now, right? Right. Because you begin experience, right? Because now I put wherever I go, God is with me, right?
That's how you know God is there.
Yeah.
You're there.
Yeah. I know there's gonna be peace in there because
You can bring it.
I'm here. Yeah, I'm peace. Yeah. Because it's like a bubble. Like I live in my bubble with fellowship with God. God will reveal things before it happens.
And you mentioned earlier about like the church. There's inside the church and then there's outside the church. And just so happened that God exists can everywhere. It can be brought anywhere. But, I think for stigma of the establishment, or from some experiences they had with people telling them how they should be thinking or how they should be praising or understanding God, and sort of a growing trend of people seeking peace without God being part of the equation. So the example you just shared with me of experiencing and fellowshipping with God, that's one with you. So what about those who would not put God in the equation? Is it that they're actually experiencing God without knowing it? Or is it that, they're experiencing something?
I believe they are experiencing God without wanting it. I have the ability to lead a couple of communities right, with different faith, right? So the parameter that is so wide where I can know him by one language, one style, but I tell people when I have my one-on-one with them, I said, I can go spiritually or I can go naturally. But at the end of the day, you got to connect to that source. You got to connect to a source. And they say, Mr. Perry, Dr. Perry, some call me Paul, that I go, yeah, now whatever they call me. What is the source? I said, something that is greater than you. So I'm teaching them how to, that's their food. They said, why we have to, that's our food? Connecting and telling the source. Thank you. Right? Start baby stuff, right? A spirit, right? Until they're ready for the encounter with God. So God is giving the encounter, but they are wrestling with their thoughts of what do I call this?
So even in a church context, isn't that what any church would be trying to achieve? The environment that the church will be trying to create for young people to wrestle with those questions.
It is understanding that all has encountered with God. It is not just in the compound every 2 hours Sunday. Right. No. Yeah. So with that, you think you woke up just in the middle of the night. Mm-hmm. Yes, you did, but it's an encounter. Mm-hmm. So now God is taking the scale off your eyes, mm-hmm. and then he can isolate you in the midst of a crowd. Okay. Right? Yeah. God can speak to you in the midst of a commercial. And he spoke to me in a carpool lane.
Yeah.
God can speak to you cutting the grass, right? All of my encounters when I was a kid, it was cutting the grass. Mm. Every time that God was going to reveal something to me, he met you there. He met me here. He met me there.
Now, were you cutting the grass with a gasoline engine, like a? There's noise, there's some gray noise there,
but it was the stillness.
You found fellowship.
It was my fellowship because I grew up in a house where it was not church friendly.
Oh, I wanted to ask, this is the question I wanted to get back to. Okay. Because you explained this kind of trauma going on.
Yeah.
There's community, there's mom, there's grandma.
Yeah.
There's everybody under one roof coming together. Yeah. But I was going to ask, was there a consistent religious aspect or higher part of your upbringing?
No, it was not a part of my upbringing.
And was that normal?
It was normal. It was
in your neighborhood. Was that normal?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it was very normal, but we had good morals.
Okay,
to a certain degree. For Easter, Resurrection for Easter, we used to get a new pair of shoes for school. Right? The encounter with God, right? My grandmother used to go to church every now and then. And then back in the day, it was FM and AM radio, I remember, right? And
the dial.
Yeah, the dial. And randomly, this is God's story. Randomly, I took interest, right, to on Sunday night listening to a Sunday night preacher. So I had headphones on, so I had to hide under my bed to listen to a random church.
Like, why did you have to hide?
Because I was laughed at. What you doing? Because that was an abnormal.
So not only was it not part of your upbringing, but it was kind of frowned upon or laughed or mocked.
Yeah.
Within the family culture, there was no space for it.
Yeah, mock
if you wanted to. You didn't feel space.
Yeah, mock and not in a negative way.
Yeah.
You weird, right? But
you're already weird.
Yeah. So that was my foundation.
I see.
Which I didn't even know that God would kill me. God was drawing me to him.
Hiding under the sheets.
Under the sheet, yeah. And then when it got too chaotic, then I just recorded, play and record and play it later. Yeah. And then for Christmas, I asked my mom to buy me a Walkman. So Sony? I can play that. And to the testament of that, how God drew me in, and probably totally opposite from a family who's raised in church, but that's how I began to get my inner peace, right? Trauma, didn't know you was in trauma, but coming through all of that, stuttering, molested, and still had to act normal, right? God laid that on my heart, right? And from there, it resonate with my spirit. And then one random day, I call my auntie, say, hey, you going to church? Don't know why. And then that's how I started going to church.
How old were you then?
I was preteen, around 12.
This episode of the Peace Starts With Me podcast is brought to you by our merch store. Check it out at peacestartswithme.com/collections. We have apparel and accessories for the whole family, including backpacks, pins, aprons, shirts, baby onesies and bibs, and more. Show your support and go to peacestartswithme.com/collections.
Edwin, you went from the first minute I met you and every encounter with you. I mean, friendly guy isn't enough to describe. There's you have a warmth, an aura, a caring, a brothership. I don't know, maybe it's because we're the same age and we just got along. But I feel like there's a lot of people that know you and meet you, feel that love from you.
Yeah.
And would you say that, would people describe you that way as a child too? I mean, do you remember caring about, you wanted to show up, you just said show up normal, but you also had a heart for other people.
Yeah, I told my mother, she laughed. She said, "What you want to be? You can't talk." Right? You know, now that is probably very brutal. But yeah, he said, "Well, what you want to be? You can't talk," right? And then she didn't know I was listening to these preachers, right? I was like, "I want to be a preacher."
You said it.
Yeah, I want to be a preacher because I just wanted to wear suits. So then,
oh really?
Yeah, I just wanted to wear a suit and talk. So I remember always being the teacher assistant.
In school.
You know, I always wore a whistle, doing PE, blow the whistle at the kids to keep the order. I always used to help the teacher grade the papers. Always was an aide, not knowing that this was my destiny, right?
That's amazing.
But how God would mold you outside of the norm, right? Because I was not afraid to be talked about. Because I've been talking about all my life, right? Porky Pig, right? All of that stuff. But it was just, as I look back, man, God is awesome. Because his hand was there.
This is beautiful.
And the peace in the midst of stuttering, couldn't talk, couldn't read out loud, couldn't communicate like what we doing here. Couldn't do that. My grandma would be like totally surprised right now. But because I connected to the source, I follow the open doors, right? Because God would give you encounters along the way, right? He told Abraham, just go,
right?
It's like he told me, just follow, the voice.
Follow that.
Just follow
Trust
that.
And when did you begin, Edwin, knowing that was God? Like those moments with the lawnmower?
I just knew. It was never like a sit-down moment like what we doing.
Right.
Hey, I'm having these dreams, right? What is this happening, right? Mm-hmm. And no, I just knew, right?
You know what I'm talking about? Because a lot of people I think a lot of people get to a point in their life where they have an experience with God and then they realize that was that same
it was a struggle. I was struggling. Man, I would tell you this too. When my mom was diagnosed with cancer, mom had cancer in the bowel duct, right? And she told me, and it hurted me. But it was God whooping me. My mother was talking to me, but to another aunt, saying, Edwin can lay hands on me and I'll be healed, but he's scared to use what God told him to do.
Really?
That's what she told me.
How old were you?
This was in my 30s.
So you hadn't gone into ministry yet?
I was in ministry.
You were?
But you were trying to fit the norm, right? You were just trying to look like everybody else.
I see.
And
your mom knew you had a gift.
Yeah, she told me that as a kid. Because I used to tell my mom my dreams. Hey, this is what I dreamt last night. And it happened, right? But it was no education there. So, hey, You're now
at a point in that life where your mom is challenging. You've actually kind of started to achieve what it was you set out to achieve, but she's checking you. Mm-hmm. She's getting this whoop up the ass with the cancer.
Yeah.
Okay, but take a step back and finish real quick. You were 12. Auntie took you to a church.
Yeah, took her to a church.
You told your mom you want to be a preacher. What happened with all that?
And then I saw
you had a good experience in the church?
I had a good experience, and that's when I began to read.
Okay.
Right? I was, was 7 years old. I'm reading Think and Grow Rich, right?
Right.
Right. So, my knowledge of understanding is like unbelievable, because who read that book at that age, right? It says, if whatever you think you can achieve, if you believe, right? Who, and then I believed everything I was hearing and was reading, but I began to read the scripture, right? And then I just was reading it as a novel at first, just reading it, just reading it.
Right.
Hey, guess what Samuel did? That's what, I read. Yeah, it grabbed me as the story. But then those stories became life. And then life, that reality, be like, okay, I remember
that happened
when this happened to Job, right?
Yeah.
And that's when I saw the application.
I see.
Right? Young. And then I just fell in love with serving, just serving. So, and then I used to run to my mom. I keep hearing cries when I go to bed. And then I remember as a kid, a teen, preteen, I used to walk up to people and just hug them because I was sensitive to the spirit realm, right? Because I can hear your cries, right? And then it was my Spanish teacher. This was 11th grade. My Spanish teacher said, "You very gifted," because after school, I asked when class, I said, "Can I say after class, because I got a question to ask you?" And I hugged her.
So cute.
And then she said, and she said, "How you know I needed a hug?" And that's when she was first diagnosed with cancer.
Wow.
Because I kept hearing
You hear it.
her cry. Yeah, I started hearing it. And then I was bold, right? I was bold,
Emboldened with that.
bold soldier. I was a bold soldier in Christ, right? And then, but I was so radical and so different that I didn't fit in nowhere.
I'm wondering, based off what you just said, did you feel the need to be a part of something more established in this realm of your service? Kind of like the carpool lane story.
Mm-hmm.
God's pulling you, and you're seeing it now. You're kind of graduating high school, and because you spent 25 years, City of Refuge, working with Bishop Noel Jones, and I think maybe there's a lot of people that look at Elder Edwin Perry, Dr. Perry, and they naturally would think, oh, working 25 years with Bishop Jones is going to shape you, but we've just heard in the first 15 years, 20 years of your life, God's already doing, I can feel so much to make who we have, the Dr. Perry of today. So bring us into that moment where you meet Bishop. This is a 25-year course.
Yeah.
How did that add to your story? What did it teach you?
I was, I went to another church before I came to Greater Bethany City of Refuge. Mm-hmm. So my brother was in the same course in his own path. So my brother fell in love with a girl who went to Greater Bethany.
Okay.
So that's how I got to Greater Bethany, because it was only one car. So I was like, you got to take me to my church. You come and pick me up after your church, but it just got too overwhelming. And that's what happened. So I was forced to go to Greater Bethany City of Refuge. Then Bishop McMurray. Yeah, Bishop McMurray died. My brother used to serve Bishop McMurray as I served Bishop Jones. So when he died, my brother got married and moved to Arizona. So I stayed behind. Okay. Because I'm a mama boy, right?
Right.
So didn't want to leave my mom. But it was all of God's plan. So my mom was a hardworking lady. Okay. So I didn't know faithfulness was something to praise. I thought this is what you're supposed to do, because I saw my mom go to work every day. Mm-hmm. I saw my mom showing up every day. So, so all what I know is if you're going to, your word is your bond. So my commitment to whatever I say I'm going to do, I'm going to do. So City of Refuge, Bishop Jones. When my brother left to move to Arizona, I took his place to serve Bishop McMurray. And then I was there on his last day until the Lord took his own. Bishop McMurray, last word to me was, I remember he had his daughter to call me and said to tell Edwin to come over. When I came over, he told everybody to get out the room. And his last word was to me was, you can't help anyone who do not want to be helped. And that stuck with me because I was just a novice of just extending myself, right? Just
you see it, you hear it,
hell yeah,
I'm going,
God had to deliver me from being the rescue man.
I see.
Right? Wow. He had to deliver me from being the rescue man.
And he taught you this.
Bishop McMurray's last word to me was, and he told me to make sense now as I'm thinking about it, to stay with Bishop Jones. And then I made a commitment to Bishop Jones, not even knowing, said, I'm going to hang with you until you get married.
Really?
I told him that from day one. I'm going to hang with you until, not even.
Why thinking? Why is that? Why that particular?
I don't, I always had these encounter dreams and aha moments with God. I told him that. And he would tell you that too. And very happy, God allowed me to expand my gift. God allowed me to do so many things alongside of Bishop Jones.
You were serving?
I was serving.
Your position?
My position. It grew into the operational manager of City of Refuge.
You ran that place.
Oh man, God is good.
God
took care of Bishop Jones, and I would never forget. Taught me a lot of stuff that I use today, and I knew it was my time to go when I lost the joy, because it felt like work now. And God didn't promise me this.
So God
didn't promise
showing you this.
Yeah. God didn't promise me. Yeah, everything I saw this day before I came here and sat here, right? I knew we was gonna be sitting somewhere outdoors, but I had a dream before this, and then I woke up saying, "Okay, I'm getting ready to do a podcast." Right? That's what's in my mind. Told my assistant at work, hey, are there any podcasts coming up? Because I know I'm getting ready to do a podcast. But again, she said, no, not yet, Dr. Perry, but I will let you know when you have to do one. And then the call came, right? So, but that's stillness time. I still do that. Right? I still have my devotion, my meditation time with God. But back to Bishop Jones, he's a good man. Taught me a lot of credit. He taught me how to be a man. He taught me, he raised me because that was, I had a stepfather, but I spent more time with Bishop Jones, went all around the world,
wow.
Serving. Isn't God amazing how you do what you love and God show you the world?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what he showed me.
Wow.
And he told me, if you follow, and Bishop McMurray said, if you follow and stay by his side, God gonna bless you.
Wow.
Yeah, and I've been around the whole world, through my commitment to God, right? And God had exposed me to so many things in life. And he always told me to just stay humble, right? So things never fascinated me because it was just things, right? I was more committed to people, right? Because I always hear cries in my head. So till today, I still hear cries in my head. So move on from City of Refuge because I lost the joy.
And this was when? How long ago?
This was after COVID. I never wanted to be the pastor, right? I just wanted to help people. That's my whole thing, was just helping people. So So randomly, I saw her having dreams, going a different way to work. And one day,
You mean you had a dream about your drive to work?
My
was a
drive to
different
work was a different route. And then I began to converse with friends. Hey, this is my thought in my head. You know, what should you think I should do, right? Because God promised me I would never have to work again. You know, all what I'm doing is passion work.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, this is, you know, if I die today, I die fulfilled.
Right.
Even right now.
Right.
Because I help everybody he told me to do.
Right.
St. John 17? Didn't come to preach, but he said it was Jesus just before he died. He was talking to God. He said, all what you gave me, I kept. And then lose one, except Judas. But that was, you know, predestined, right? He said, everything that you tasked me to do, I did. And that's a conversation before I left City of Refuge I had with God. I did everything.
You already felt at one peace with your mission, your fulfillment.
Yeah, I knew it was my time because there was nothing else to do. And then, you know,
can I ask you what the conversation with Bishop was like? Or?
He didn't want to meet because never once said, hey, I need a one-on-one with you. So
you're kidding?
Yeah, never, because I understood one thing I learned. Bishop was my boss. He was not my friend. That's how we kept the relationship great, right?
I see.
That's my boss. You know, I don't go to dinner with Bishop Jones.
I see.
Just the level of respect, you know. So when your main guy called, hey, need a one-on-one with you.
So you called him.
Yeah.
And asked for, that's a big day.
I need a one-on-one.
Okay.
And then I just wanted to give you, you know, the respect.
Yeah.
So while he delaying my meetings, I'm writing up a manual because I did not want
to leave it
anything
disorganized.
Yeah. I left a binder of A to Z. How to do.
Brilliant.
You know, how to do, you know, frequent most asked questions, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I did. So when we agreed to a time, then I brought my binder. Then I was explaining, hey, I think it's my time to go for it. So, you know, he's spiritual because he kind of felt it.
Yeah.
There was no tension at all.
It's a big moment for him too, because he's now
he's married. Yeah, I'm happy. You know?
It's beautiful.
Yeah, but we saw this coming. I tell her. The good thing was, you know, he was scared to tell me. I'm like, man, come up and I see it. So
everybody knows.
Yeah. So I was like, go for it, you know. And then when my mom was sick, stuff like that. Then my mom was saying, tell him to marry that woman. So it's an ongoing story. He's a part of me.
Forever.
It never would be erased. And then he's my father, you know? And whatever he need, I would be there. Yeah.
I love it.
I love it. It's crazy how, man.
This episode of the Peace Starts With Me podcast is brought to you by our merch store. Check it out at peacestartswithme.com/collections. We have apparel and accessories for the whole family, including backpacks, pins, aprons, shirts, baby onesies and bibs, and more. Show your support and go to peacestartswithme.com/collections.
Met a lot of good people along the way. Man, I helped a lot of people along the way. Rose a lot of people along the way. Buried families. Did all that stuff alongside the fisher. And he would say, man, I made ministry look fun. But I was just, the truth of the matter, I was just having, you were having fun. I was having fun.
Can you help me, like, just real quick, the parallel, because it's like, it's almost like the way I'm hearing your story is almost like there's like 3 chapters are put out on the third chapter with your new.
There's a lot to me. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Right, no, they're beautiful. But I feel like you walked us through a journey of finding God outside the church walls, you know, And then you went into this amazing ministry with Bishop Noah Jones. Yeah, 25 years.
Yeah.
You're traveling the world. And now in your new role, we're working with the Salvation Army is in here in LA. Tell me if I'm wrong, but you're now coming back out of the walls. It's kind of like you met God outside the walls and you do training inside the walls. And now you're going back out and meeting people where they're at.
Yeah.
And tell us a little bit about that there.
I remember meeting the ministers at City of Refuge. I said, the reason why I preach on Sunday is because you didn't tell God yes yet, because I didn't like preaching. I didn't like helping.
Right? You're good at preaching, by the way, and you did tell them all.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm preaching.
But that wasn't what it said. About at slot.
I didn't want it. It was. I know what you mean. That was not enough. What I heard, right? You get gifts, right? I take clothes. But I don't want to work at a maestro.
You don't want to be in a kitchen.
I want to be in a kitchen. So I got so many gifts, but the transformation to community pretty much is the same. Because out of the four walls, I remember, man, you're bringing up a lot of things. I remember on Facebook, when Facebook first came alive, and then do you remember, I know you do those flip cams, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I had a flip cam, so I started a Facebook,
Right at the beginning.
yeah, the beginning called Beyond the Walls, right, where I go out and talk to people, right?
You're itching.
Yeah. But it makes sense. So I always wanted to go outside of the church. So went to Salvation Army, as their executive direction over the Metro Los Angeles area, from Skid Row to family service and everything. And it's a big role. Because I love people, right? Empathy, right? So that's you. So I have staff that can't understand how I really love people.
So tell me, Doc, like they're in it, they're doing a good work. But when you entered into that field, what did you feel from them? What could you hear from the people you were being given to care over?
It was just work, right? So I didn't like that. I said you got to put some feeling into what they do, right?
So that, yeah.
I said, just don't serve them something you don't, right? Put some seasoning on this meal, right? And taste it before, right, you give it to the unhoused population. So reason I got my belly is because I eat the food, because I eat 3 times a week at different sites with my unhoused population.
Wow.
Because if it's good enough for me, it's good enough for you. And before they serve it, I got to taste it. And if it's not done with love, then I outgrew you.
Right.
And when I outgrow you, then like it's for something else. But the transformation with the staff, what I have to teach them, my work ethics, how I do it.
Wow.
And then now
Internally too.
internally, yeah. So by default, I have Bible class with them, meet with them one-on-one. Probably do 12 hours a day, even more in the staff, because nobody took the time for me. So I took the time. So I'm taking the time with them. And I'm teaching them, don't be afraid of your story. Tell your story, because your story is going to bring clients to us. Because at the end of the day, we are all magnums. Right. We have the Holy Ghost, the Holy Spirit. We are magnum, and the magnet will attract the herd. So when you comfortable with who you are, show your scars. and then show your heels part, like how you will be able to help them connect to the source. So through Skid Row, through my preschool, through the family services, through all of my meets program, my child program, everyone I sat down with, show me your scars. Show me how you hit your neck with your knee. What happened? What was you thinking? Tell it to the kid. Because when they go home, they dealing with something you had to deal with, but do not know how to communicate it. So listen to what they're not saying.
Right? Listen to the boy with the headphones under the sheets.
Yeah.
Listen to their cries.
Yeah.
And let them know their cries will be songs.
And that's all what it is. So from there, how we grew so much is because I taught them our recipe. Recipe. Yeah. So now they pull me from everywhere to trying to how to make this work. It's a basic.
So you're like, I don't want to say, I don't know why the expression pig in mud comes to mind.
Big in mud. Yeah. I can go with that.
But you're happy. This is beautiful to hear.
I never was this happy in my life.
I was surprised when I heard about it and happy at the same time.
Yeah.
And I heard from others like how happy you were, but now I can really.
Yeah, I'm so busy. Yeah,
It's not just a career shift. It's like a harvest of your life's work, of God's work with you.
Put it like this to you. It's already written in my obituary.
Yeah, it's there.
It's there. I'm just catching up. God already time caps everything.
Yeah.
Right? And I was not afraid to say yes. Right? Can you imagine if I would have stayed? And no hard feeling to the refuge.
Yeah.
But I had to go. Say I didn't go, what would happen to a guy named Terry, Wayne, Dandrick, Royal, the little kids that who was lost, right? What would happen to the kids got put in protective custody if I were there?
Well, what's the difference between finding peace or really finding peace with God? Because God knows all those things. He knows what's beyond, like you said, something higher, bigger, because that perspective. God knows all that's going on. And if we surrender our peace to God's peace and bring ourselves to bear, then we're going to be drawn to be a part of something bigger than that which we could have imagined. And there's no way anybody could have planned all of that out other than the God who sees all those things and all those places that you can touch. That's what I feel like I'm listening to. Does that?
I was. God had to make me comfortable. Right? The Bible story, right? When Peter was walking on the water, right? Everyone had the ability to walk on the water because Jesus called them. But only Peter was the one who was bold enough to get off the boat to take him at his word.
Right.
Right? Wouldn't would have been a marvelous, different story
if everybody had the
and
faith.
everybody would have walked.
Well, that's a whole nother podcast.
It's a whole nother podcast. I would not have to work 12 hours if everybody would have said yes. Right? It is like this. We go, I don't talk political, but it is something what's going on in California now with our governor with the unhoused. He said, so now they provide me shelter for the unhoused. Some unhoused don't want to go. And some city officials don't want to adhere to the new rule to get them off the street. And he said, if you don't get them off the street, I want to take away your funding. Right? And if you don't do what I tell you to do, then take away your peace. Right? So oftentimes we see people in a chaotic situation, it's because they didn't tell God yes. I'm convinced by something.
So those bits that are fighting is because it's out of harmony with what God.
Everything is spiritual.
So I want to ask you another question. No, it's I'm having fun. I'm having fun. I want to pull. We first met. we were walking into. Oh my God! We walked into City of Refuge, and we're like, okay, Mother of Peace is coming, and she'll never forget. We want to do a big event right here. Big event. Can we bring 20,000? How many thousands can we bring into City of Refuge? Do you remember that?
I remember. I told you no. I told you no. I said, man,
Possible.
I told you no, only because it was my day off.
That's right. It was your day off.
I said a Saturday at 2:00, and it was only my day off. And then your team came around, and then I felt it. I know the voice now. It don't take me long.
That's the thing. A lot of people gotta respect that part.
Yeah. It's a.
If God's in it,
God's in it. Yeah, it's a voice.
yeah. I don't know what month it was, but it was just like weeks away.
It was
And
like
I got a call. I was leaving Korea. It's like, oh, Mother wants to come at this time. She wants to come and meet Bishop Jones.
Yeah.
She wants to bring a bunch of people together for a Peace Stars with Me rally.
Yeah.
In LA.
Yeah.
So I had to hit the tarmac and come straight out here to LA and meet you.
Yeah, everyone left the plane to come
Straight
to see
to meet you.
Oh, little old me.
Okay, and that's all on your shoulder.
And Bishop Jones
Wasn't actually there at the
he
time.
said whatever Edwin said because
That's right.
he trusted me enough
trusted you.
to make the decision. And then the concept was explained to me. And then I said, oh yeah, we can get some bleachers in here. So I called my assistant. I was texting my assistant when Reverend Curtis was talking. I said, Google who rent bleachers. Don't ask no questions, just Google and tell them I need them here. And then that's how we got the bleachers there. And we did it.
It was amazing.
When I tell you that was fun. And then from there, not even that event, but the relationships that were birthed from that day. Right? My mind said no. But if I would have said no and then ego said no, part of my script would not have been fulfilled. Right?
But it wasn't even just ego. It could have just been
I just wanted my day off. But look, I didn't have nothing to do. I didn't have nothing to do. But it was just like, man, another Saturday working. And sometimes you got to move you out the way. And for the bigger picture from there, encounter. God used people for encounter. And that's what I think we miss the most in finding God and peace. The little encounters.
Right.
Strangers.
Yeah.
Grocery stores, encounters.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
Yeah. And man, I never would have went to South Korea and met beautiful people in South Korea. I never would have went to New Jersey. God has a way to remind you what's ahead when you can humble yourself quietly and listen. If you listen enough, he will talk to you. The inner peace. It's like purging out everything that need to be out. And I can breathe. I'm happy. Right? People say, man, you look so younger now. I'm just happy.
Joy keeps you young.
Peace keep you young. Peace keep you young. Because Bishop Jones taught me never lead with a negative. Always lead with a positive. So when you lead with peace and you are a bubble, wherever you go, it's going to bump. And then because peace is the attribute of God, right? And then God is more dominant. It's gonna take over, right? I'm in the heart of South LA, like the heart is, right?
the hood, right? They were telling me before I got there that the old director was saying, these people can't be helped.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that before.
Yeah, these people can't be helped. So they was wrestling with closing that center. And it's amazing. Someone saying they can't be helped. I lost joy where I was at. I'm bored. Google now, looking for where to go. God will always have the answer. Before you call, I answer. And while you were thinking about it, I already worked it out, right? So when somebody gave up, God allowed me to get bored because he knew it was my time.
So you can catch up to his plan.
Catch up to his plan, right? Because while you over here, God is preparing you that you don't even know, but you have a glimpse of it if you get still and meditate. And from there, I was like, there's no bad people here.
Yeah.
Right? They were scared to come down there in the hood. Now my place is so crowded where they want to have their meetings. My place is so crowded where other office want to come and just hang out with me. Right? You come to my office, you come to the center, I have music playing. It's a party. And there's no bad person.
It's beautiful.
I have one set of gang members on one side of the street and the other one on the other side of the street. No problem, because I keep their kids. You know, they come, they talk to me, you know, but they respect me because they know I care.
That's beautiful.
You know, when a man tell you thank you for taking care of my son, that is heartfelt. I mean, that is something that a check can't pay you. Like, man. And then he say in private because he's hard, you know, but I take care of his kids, right?
That's real.
It's real. That's real. Peace. And then in the center, they say, it's so warm here. No, it's peace you feeling, sweetie. You feeling peace. God.
It's possible.
And then now they can't name it, but now they look different because you can be around peace and have a little bit of peace. So now they come there.
Get a taste of it.
Just to sit down in peace.
I really, really feel your story and the expression of your story and your works together with your testimony and faith. It's a masterclass.
It's a masterclass, man. That's my next
You are
phase.
a master. No, it's a masterclass because it's real and it's beautiful.
Yeah,
and
that's where I'm going.
A lot we can learn so much from you. I want to, talk more about how we can help your work. How we can do partner in new ways, and also want to let you know there's a big party happening. It's going to be crazy.
Okay,
I can't even promise you what it's going to be like.
Okay,
but Korea's coming up again. Mother's opening this whole universal place of peace to worship and to praise. It's called the Chonmonggung.
It's on the South Campus?
Yeah, same place we went before. It's beautiful, beautiful. I'll show you pictures later, but it's already built, and there's going to be a entrance ceremony next April.
Tell me what we can do.
I'm just to be there, man. I mean, whatever we can do, we'll figure that out. But I just want to let you know.
Tell me what I need to do.
Yeah.
It would be good.
I want to let you be welcome.
I think the big ask is, we is more than funding. I have learned and met so many wonderful people throughout your organization. We became brothers and sisters, and we grew with the family church. That's like my heart. And the biggest thing is support. Support because the food insecurities in South LA is criable, right? The pain that I see with the little kids the youth, even the adults come just hang out with me. And my program is a youth center. I have the same amount of adults that just need peace. Because I had one lady came and said, she came to me, Mister. She can't speak English. I'm hearing voicing in my head. I said, come on, sit down, let's talk. You know? Because they come, right? We are the magnum. We are magnet that we know that we have the answer. So support on all levels will change lives.
Yeah.
And it will convert people who will funnel into that peace that you are talking about. Your movement, peace start with me. But before it can start, we got to do some inner work.
Yeah.
We got to do some inner work.
And you've showed us.
Yeah, that next generation.
It's possible.
It's possible.
That's beautiful.
I was in a meeting. I said, there's hope for the next generation. Some men were trying to challenge me. He said, how you know? I said, because I'm there.
And if you're there,
peace is there. God is there.
God is there. Peace is there. To find out more about Dr. Edwin Perry, your story, or how to find you, how to help you, where do people go?
To find me, you can go to Facebook, Edwin Perry, Instagram, Edwin D. Perry. Now, don't get confused with all of the selfie pictures of me. I only do that because my family is in Arizona, so I got to post pictures.
So please understand, if you're wondering why he's got so many selfies, and he's got a great, actually, you have a great pose. You know how to, does a great pose.
Facebook, but more importantly,
it's a family thing.
Yeah,
so no hate on that.
Yeah, more importantly, you can go to Siemon Center Facebook page. You can find my work. Salvation Army, South LA, Edwin Perry. It ring a bell throughout Salvation Army. Edwin Perry, Siemon Center, Family Service. But if you can't remember that, you can just say Salvation Army, South LA.
Salvation Army, South LA.
You can find me, my work, and what it became.
Edwin, thank you so much for coming.
Love you,
brother.
Love you. God bless you.
Beautiful story. Thank you.
Thank you.
Peace Starts With Me podcast is produced and directed by A. Curtis Farrow. Assistant producer, Koichi Nakai. Associate producers, Albin Gaval, Ron Lucas, Terry Gadsden, and William Lagrateria. Editor, Albin Gaval. Audio engineer, Oji Bahian. Media director, Robert W. Alexander of 360 Wise Media. And PR and branding by Irving Street Rep.